all for your patience as we had that training. We run a little bit long tonight, but we're going to get started with our meeting, and I'd like to start, as we do, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And for the record, we'll make a note that we started our meeting tonight at 7:25 instead of 7 o'clock. So, thank you. Okay. Let's take a look at the first item on our agenda, which is the minutes. The minutes were circulated previously. If you all have had a chance to take a look at these, I'll give you one more minute just to refresh yourself on the minutes of our meeting from September the 17th. We did have a beer board there, and it was our first meeting of this current 2-year cycle, so we did some pretty interesting things there in terms of assigning portfolios and things of that nature. It was a little bit of a long meeting, but Commissioners, any questions? Any need for revision on these minutes?
I see one need for review. When we voted to approve the August minutes, these say it was unanimous, and I abstained because I wasn't a member in August.
Okay. You can make that note. Thank you, Commissioner Jenkins. That's a good. Anything else? I'll give just a few more seconds because we did have this in advance. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting of September the 17th?
Make a motion to accept the minutes for September 17th.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion, a second. Commissioners, any other questions? Last call for any edits to our minutes? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, the minutes are approved. All right. Next item is the finance report. So let me turn to City Manager. Cliff, can you lead us through the finance schedule?
Okay, we'll go through the revenues first. Looks like we were down, and a lot of our revenues, our local sales trust was down. We budgeted for $112,000. We got 104, just a little under 105. Wholesale beer tax, the wine inspection fee, we're down. We got the gasoline tax by about $20. City courts and fines, they were up about 3% from our budget. So we had budgeted for the month for revenue of $149,568, and we came in at $143,396. So about 4% under budget. And we'll go into the expenses. So under legislative board, we just have the commissioner fees, nothing out of the ordinary there. City court, nothing really out of the ordinary. City recorder salary, it's a little under. We don't have 2 people in the office at the moment. City attorney's up just a little bit, and it's just they kind of bill quarterly, so we kind of never know what the budget is, so that's why it's a little over. Going into personnel administration, life insurance is down because we had 2 employees drop off of the mutual loan on Aflac. For that, building codes, the salaries up just a little bit. They both work, a few more hours, especially some of the events that were going on. Planning and zoning, you'll see we have a community plan for $4,000. That was our expense for September. That's not currently worked into our budget. I'll have to do a budget amendment and appropriate that, or roll that appropriate money into the budget. City Hall operations, repair and maintenance is up quite a bit. We had a SAM registration to be able to use government grants and contracts, so we had to enroll that. Our payroll software, City Hall supplies is up. About 800 of that is copy paper and ink for both printers on the city reporter side employees. And then moving on to page 3. Other general government services, you'll see the MTS code update for $950. That was not budgeted for. We weren't charged for last year's update, so it wasn't included in this budget. So again, that will be in the budget amendment and we'll appropriate it, roll it in. Public notices, we didn't have anything budgeted for that. That was for the expressions of interest for the planning commission. Under police administration, everything looks pretty fine there. There's under one county sheriff's office user fee, that's our portion, fiscal year 25 portion for the radios. That goes to the city of Maryville for $868. Supplies was up just a little bit, just they had some registered mail and some supplies that they had to get. Nothing under drug control or other public safety. Fire department member fees the same. Public works is pretty good. The wages were up just a little bit. We're working a lot to get stuff done. Okay, on to page 4. Nothing under street aid. We haven't had to use any of that yet. Parks and Rec, their promotion and advertising, that was supplies for bingo night and birthday club. So we budgeted for a total net income of $54,889. We came in at $43,345, but we were about $7,800 under our revenue budget, and then we had the $4,000 in the community plan, $950 then passed, and the $800 in radius. So it kind of gets out. I think it looks worse than it is. But if you look at the year-to-date budget, we budgeted to do $101,381. What we've done from July to September 30th is $147,368. So we're still about $46,000 to go.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions on the finance report? I have one, but I'll hold it for just a second. While y'all are thinking, I'll ask one. When will we do a budget amendment? I know that periodically throughout the year we will do that. What's
Either November or December. Because we normally do 2 a year.
Okay.
Just kind of as a house cleaning for the budget. It's always not.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions on the financial? Okay, City Manager, how about the charter of accounts? Give us
Okay, the general fund we have right at $700,000. Street fund is just under $202,000. Drug fund's holding at $4,800, and accessibility fund is rising around $1,250.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions? Can I have a motion to approve the financials?
Make a motion to approve the finance report from September.
Have a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion, questions? Okay, all in favor of approving the finance report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the finance report is approved. Next item, building and codes report. I see Mr. Blair, you want to start us off?
Yeah, nothing really major to report. We had one building permit this month, so everything's running nice and smooth.
Okay, I'll just repeat, one building permit this month. How many open permits do we have?
24.
24 open building permits in the city now. Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions for the building inspector? Okay, moving on, Mr. Ogle, codes report.
Pretty much the same as him, not a whole lot to report. A few small yard sale signs and stuff like that. Nothing large.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Ogle?
Yes, I was brought to my attention that we have some code violations on 776 East LA Parkway. If you could check into those, please.
776?
7767 East LA.
7766. All right.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Ogle? Okay, let's move on to the interim city manager report as well.
follow-up report, we still have a few smaller events along this, within the month. We have the Jeep, Jeep Outpost Dog Show, the tractor show is going to be on the 25th, then the Fall Foliage Drive, and the Pottery Festival at the Heritage Center, so smaller, busy things going on. Kelsey wants to talk about the Christmas parade, but I would say we have 2 applications so far. I'm working on a couple of ordinances, one for a purchasing policy because we currently don't have one, but we've recently had some grants that have reached out and asked for a purchasing policy. We have a procurement competitive bids that are actually process for purchasing, so we kind of have to fall under the municipal budgeting act of 1983, so anything over 2,500 we have to go to the board, so we're going to kind of level and raise that threshold a little bit. I'm working on an on-call policy for maintenance, so that they both have opportunity to get overtime. And then I spoke with Angie, who was here, and we about the bear proof ordinance from Gatlinburg. They talked to their legal, they said that wasn't really the avenue that we're going to take, so we're kind of going a different route. So I hope to have the new one on the agenda for November.
We had quite a lot of discussion about that at our last meeting, talking about the bears. Questions for city manager or commissioners? Okay, thank you very much for that report. Let's move right along. Chief County.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll start off with bears, and I know probably a lot of people had heard there was a mama bear hitting the curves last week, and unfortunately, and so happy to report, however, that we were able to assist ABR with the traffic control and getting a trap set. They were able to corral both the baby bears and get them secured at ABR, and so they'll be nurturing them until they're ready to be released, which is awesome. So hopefully they'll survive that process and get to be big bears one day. So Dana told me the largest of the 2 was just over 12 pounds. So they were babies. So hopefully that'll work out well for them. But anyway, so I've heard talk. Periodically, I get comments from the public about speed issues in Townsend. Some folks have different view of our speed issues, whether we do or do not have an issue with it, and so there's a pretty wide range of opinions. But I would venture to say that the majority of people realize that we do have some issues with speed. Part of which may be because it's a 4-lane highway, and people generally feel the inclination to go a little faster on a 4-lane highway. I'm not sure, but even though we're very clearly marked, from Wallen, the speed limit cuts down to 45, so it's not a surprise, and certainly not a speed trap where you have a reduction in speed just without warning. It's very, very clearly posted. So all that to say this, I met a gentleman named Ryan Moore with Blue Line Solutions at one of my Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police conferences. Ryan came over and set up some devices, very high-tech devices that we did a speed study. We did a speed study in our school zone, which is the most sensitive spot we've got in town, and we ought to all care about the most. And as geography would have it, our school zone also is in right where probably our most problematic intersection other than Wares Valley is, which is Webb Road intersection. I've heard some comments as the need for a traffic light even at Webb Road intersection at times. But However, it's easy to say that there is a need for reduction in speed citywide, but specifically that area, that section of roadway. So this speed study was conducted in August on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then skipped to a Monday, so no weekend. And it was conducted during the hours of 7:15 a.m. until 3 p.m. So you got just a fraction of the day that's included in this. So obviously you can draw your conclusions as to the increase in numbers if you would have done a 24-hour study. But this is 7:15 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, by definition for this study, speeding is considered 11 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's where these numbers are derived from. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but the numbers that we got back were an eye-opener. I honestly couldn't believe how many. 5-day total vehicle count was 26,477 cars. The 5-day total speeding violations recorded was 658. So during that time, from 7:15 a.m. to 3 p.m., we had 658 vehicles traveling at a minimum of 11 miles an hour on above the speed limit. So if anybody has questions, do we have an issue with speeding? The answer is yes, we do. To further break that down, and I found this very interesting as well, the violators by speed range. So the majority, 415 of them were 11 miles an hour to 14 miles an hour over. So it gets worse. 175 violators ranged from 15 miles an hour over to 20 miles an hour over, and 68 violators are running 21 miles an hour or better over the posted speed limit. Now, when you start seeing those kind of speeds, that opens the door for some pretty horrific crashes, and I have seen some bad crashes in that area. We had a fatality in that area with a lady on a bicycle pretty recently, and the accident reconstruction team from the sheriff's office, their paint marks are still visible on the roadway where that happened, as a reminder of that. So the argument against this stuff is, well, we've never had XYZ, it's never been a problem. So, but what's your tolerance? How many is too many? Well, I say one fatality is too many. So I want to take a proactive approach to this. Well, Blue Line Solutions offers an answer or a solution for this problem. Their product, when put in place, has statistically proven to reduce speed in that area upwards of 90+% is what they've shown. And they even have jurisdictions that have practically eliminated speeding in that area. So it is a photo enforcement system, and it is very, it's not a hide behind the bushes gotcha system. It's very clearly marked, it's very clear, has very clear signage, and on either end of the photo enforcement zone, there is speed feedback signs that shows you your speed. So there's no guesswork. I mean, you're fairly warned with multiple signs and finally a speed feedback sign before you get into this zone, right? And then even after the zone, you've got several feet to get in compliance. So what happens is when violators break the threshold for the speed there, they're mailed a citation, and it's a $50 fine, and it's a civil infraction. It's a civil infraction against the owner of the vehicle, and the money, or the usually over 80-something% of the people that are cited comply and pay for the citation. But, so what happens is Blue Line takes care of all the cost of that. Doesn't cost the city anything to run this program. Blue Line incurs all the cost side of it. And again, the public safety piece of this is paramount. A reduction in speed of even 75 or 80% would be fabulous. But if we could get 90% reduction in speed through that area, I'd love for it to happen citywide, but that's, my guys are out there working on that part. But they can't sit down there 24/7 like two electronic devices can, right? So, again, if the violators get this citation in the mail, it does not go on their driving record because it's a non-moving civil infraction based on our city ordinance against speeding. So it doesn't affect their driving record, but it's basically a tiny slap on the wrist reminder to, hey, you guys slow down, okay? So obviously, there's a lot more to this program, and I've given you guys some more information on it to read up and have questions for Ryan and kind of formulate your opinions on how you want to proceed on this. But again, all the cost is on Blue Line Solutions. There's no cost to the city. The city simply reaps the benefit of public safety, number one, and as a side benefit, there is some revenue gain, but that's a small portion of it. Our goal is to have no citations. That's what I'd love to see. So anyway, that's something that I would love for you guys to consider. Not expecting a vote on it tonight by any means, but that's, I think, if we're forward thinking and being proactive about issues we're having, and I think we can all agree there's not going to be a decrease in traffic, right? Townsend ain't a secret anymore, if it ever was. That we can all expect more, right? So I want to get ahead of it, and I think this is one way that we can do that and be kind of on the cutting edge of using technology. That, by the way, is very it's using laser technology as opposed to radar, so it's very specific and targeted. It's not you don't have to worry about shadowing and things that are problematic for radar, right? So you can't. There's not a lot of argument. If you're God, you're God, and you got a picture to prove it along with the electronic data. So anyway. That's something I'd love for you guys to consider, and not asking for a vote unless you're ready to move forward with it. But I think somebody want some time to consider it, and that's totally fair. Respect that. So love for you to do that. And anyway, I appreciate you listening. That's kind of long-winded, but didn't need to talk that much. But love for you to consider that. I think it's a absolute win-win for the city, and would be hard for anyone to argue against if they care anything about our public safety there, and especially our school zone safety. So there's that. Outside of that, everything's kind of business as usual. Guys are out there and staying really busy with traffic enforcement and answering calls. So things are certainly active, but all's going well. And no major issues to report, so that's good there.
All right, thanks, Chief. Appreciate that report. Those speeds that you described are concerning, so I think we'll take a look at this and give it some consideration. Commissioners, any questions for Chief Connie?
Did I hear that Blank County's going to have a child safety day up here soon? Or something about?
Yeah, we're having one. Yeah, we're doing a small scale back version at the school
When is that?
in conjunction with it. You have a date?
It is
Wait a minute, the 15th, November 15th, sorry, November 15th,
I
is on a
written
Friday.
down my office so they can bring it. Yeah, so that will be done in conjunction, in coordination with the school and
And it is-
Parks and Rec.
It is during school hours, and it's just for the school kids and their family.
Yeah. So we got Parks and Rec, Fire Department, Police Department,
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis,
Yeah.
that's right, doing it this year, so we're picking that back up.
Let's move on. Chief Stallions, Fire Department report.
Yeah, everything's going well for us. Do want to say, you know, with the floods that's happened around us, and also we were forecast to get some of that. Fortunate that the system moved east. Want to thank the partnership a lot. We had one of our bigger festivals scheduled for that weekend, and they were great to work with, and really concerned about making sure that we would be able to do what we needed to do. So out of abundance of caution, they actually canceled the festival, which was great, because that allowed us, even though, so we got fortunate that morning, early morning, woke up and they told us the river was going to crest at 2 p.m. As fast as it was coming up, if you did the math, we were going to be above the early 90s flood that was at 16 feet. We got to give it to the National Weather Service as well. Was on the phone with them. He said, "Chief, I'm not going to leave you hanging," and he did. Got regular phone calls, and you know, at one point he said, "Hey, it's shifted east. We're looking at Bryson City. They're getting a little bit of a rest. That's what feature tributaries you're going to see it slack off and a reduction here in about an hour. You're going to crest at about 7.5 feet. Exactly what they said happened. We crested at 7.2 feet. So minor flooding, nothing real serious, but very fortunate. What happened in Irwin and Johnson City area originally was forecasted for us. So.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. Our hearts certainly go out to our neighbors, and I want to thank you, Chief Condi, for the good preparation. You all kept me informed in terms of what the projections were, and so I felt like for Townsend, we were prepared going into that, should we have gotten a little bit more rain. So I commend you for all those preparations, and I know some hard decisions had to be made around that time. Again, our hearts go out to our neighbors, and I know that there's a lot of efforts around town to help collect supplies and things and to get them over to the other side of the mountain. It does remind me of the fact that we do need to be prepared in such an event because by the grace of God, this could have been us. And so I know that there's a Blount County plan, that we have our unique aspects for Townsend, and so I think, Commissioners, what I'd like for us to do is to continue to revisit that plan and to make sure we are prepared in case something like that does come our way. But I think all systems seem to work for us this time, and we really appreciate that.
I'd like to say, Mayor, working with the police department, that relationship invaluable. We're all together in it, reaching out to the campgrounds. We didn't know we were going to have to evacuate, working with the businesses. Townsend works really well together when you get out in the streets and get with the people, and then the business owners and the citizens. It was falling into place. We were ready if we needed to evacuate. Had 2 churches open shelters. Like I said, had the business owners calling, tell us how many people they had in their campgrounds. Hitting the people that live along the river, tying up propane tanks and shutting them off. So it was good to see the community come together. Thankfully, like I said, it moved east, but Townsend works well together.
Commissioners, any questions for Chief Stallions? Thank you, Chief. Let's move on. Maintenance report. Mr. Jones? Oh, we have the Commissioner of Streets and Maintenance.
All right, I'm actually going to, I hope y'all received the email from Mr. Jones about possibly retaining our seasonal employee, Mr. Truex, maybe for part-time work, even through the winter months. He included in his email 14 different points that we could use the extra hand in some things. So I hope y'all got that email, and I am actually going to turn this over to Mr. Jones.
Yes, what I gave you there, you should read it. I think everyone understands. But it would be, really good to help if we get did that with him. He asked me if, he could get approved if he did stay, but if not, then it's okay as well. But as far as, I'm gonna pass on something else, but as far as, we go to the mowers, did you get that?
Stay right there for just 1
Okay.
second. To keep him on roughly for 2 days with insurance and everything, we're looking at less than $10,000. He is no longer with us right now unless we approve this, even if we do wait and approve it next month so we can think about that. His employment with us will run out at the end of October, so this would be adding him on for possibly November, December, January, February, and he would come back on March right now as it stands, unless we decide to hire him on part-time. It is roughly 10-hour shifts a week, about 20 hours a week, so he works 10-hour shifts a day. So just to keep that in mind, again, it would be less than $10,000 to have him on part-time for the whole year, or added on to what he already gets paid. So if you all just keep that in mind, and then we'll shift back to the lawn mowers. Mr. Jones.
Yes, I spoke with a lady from the city of Maryville, Katie Kerr, about our mowers, about getting grants, and I did fax her over the ones that we had. She's going to go through them. I didn't ask her to do it, she just volunteered to do it to help us with the grant, and she said she would look through those and find out which one the best one that would suit us, and then email us and let us know what she comes up with. So that's a big plus. So, other than that, everything looks good. I mean, mowing's slowing down, but everything else is doing good. Other than that, thank you.
For new mowers, did you all receive those emails about the cost for those in your email packets? Okay, just wanted to make sure. The reason we were wanting to go ahead and update those is so that maybe when we get the new ones, then we'll be able to sell the old ones. And they are quite a few hours on them. The longer we keep them, the less money we're going to be able to get for those. And they're not going to be any good but to go to a scrapyard somewhere. So I would like to see, hopefully next month, to maybe get those purchased while it's off season, and get ours cleaned up and in working order, and get them on sold before spring of next year.
All right. Thanks, Commissioner Martin. Questions from commissioners?
Yeah, real quick, you said part-time's 20 hours a week, and I thought you said insurance.
Not insurance. He can be eligible for,
No, since we would classify him part-time instead of seasonal, because we can't work him year-round as seasonal, he would be eligible to opt into the TCRS as part-time. It's not mandatory,
Okay.
like it is full-time.
But it's not insurance, because it's
Not
it's
health
part-time.
insurance, no.
But it
Just
would
like
be-
state retirement.
does our insurance go up having him part-time as our insurance as a whole
Not our health
policy?
insurance, our workers' comp
Oh,
insurance.
that's what it was, yeah, that would go up,
Yeah, but it would be minimal.
yes.
Other questions from commissioners? I've got a couple. So I look at the list of things that could be done, and I don't disagree that any of these things would be excellent to be done. Painting city handrails, bike trail maintenance, special one to me. Special People's Park, all kinds of things we could get done if we have someone on. This is continuing as part-time, though it's just keeping them on as part-time. And then we have the cost associated with that, and it's clear it's retirement. You can potentially, we would have to do a matching contribution or something. That's where the expense to the city would come in
Yes.
on that.
If he were to opt in.
Okay.
He doesn't have to give full-time.
Okay. And in terms of the mowers, have we looked into other types of contract situations? I know right now we buy them, we keep them, and then we sell or trade. Have we ever looked into leasing them or doing things? I know we have people come to us from time to time, says you could put it on a contract, you'd always have they would be in charge of the maintenance and, replacement, things like that. Have we looked into it?
No, we have not at that time.
Okay.
Not yet, the only, what I was telling you was Katie Kerr, she's the one that was trying to get us into that grant for, the mowers, so. And, they said the one that they're on, we're getting $28,000 for a mower, that we get for 13, which I don't know if that's gonna fall underneath us or not, but as soon as she gets back with us on that, I'll know a little bit more.
Is that a grant or a purchasing
It's a
agreement?
grant.
So somebody would give us money to buy new mowers?
Contract fund.
Those are my questions. Commissioners, any others? Okay. Commissioner Martin, are you looking for a resolution here to move ahead with this, or?
If we need to put it on the agenda for next month, that's fine, or if we can take action now, it does not matter.
Okay. Well, I would like to see a little bit more investigation on the mowers.
Yes, most definitely, we're waiting on her to get back with us.
Okay. Commissioners, what's your pleasure? You want to think about it and bring it back next month, or do you want to go ahead and move on?
I want to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple of things. Okay, let's bring it back on next month, and we'll have
On the employment.
on the employment and the mower.
And then, I guess, okay.
Is that okay? All right. Okay, thank you very much for that. Commissioner Martin, anything else on your maintenance report?
No, that is it. They've been doing a wonderful job keeping everything mowed, making sure our city looks beautiful, and
Okay. Will we cover the status of the swinging bridge at the upper end of Dark Island on this report or somewhere else? Is it going to be?
Well, I've reached out, Jason actually reached out to Chief Evans, had a conversation with Neil Stone, who knew him from back in the air base. So I made the comment that we needed an engineer to come look at the bridge, because the repairs are on that, stuff our maintenance team can perform. So he recommended reaching out to Cannon and Cannon. So right now, we're just waiting to hear back to get an engineer to come out and kind of give an estimate of what needs to be repaired and cost. So per the attorney, we kind of put a sign up with the Tennessee Code annotated use at your risk type thing, because the concrete actually comes up more people that go out on the bridge. And the boards do need to be replaced, and they need to be better reinforced whenever they are replaced, where you can fall through them. They need more like stainless.
Well, sounds like we have another aging infrastructure. So we've got the platform and the ramp down at the Special People's Park. We got the swinging bridge at the upper end.
Mayor, would you let me interject something?
Please.
So I'm actually, know the guy that lives across the bridge on the other side. And I talked to him a couple weeks back, and he watches that bridge traffic and is very concerned. He said that when you get, half a dozen people, four or five people on that thing, it's actually lifting the concrete coming up at the base on his side of the river over there is coming up out of the ground. It's going to be an unpopular decision, but honestly, in the interest of public safety, I really feel like the bridge needs to be closed until it can be properly repaired. I mean, who knows, it might be just fine for 100 years without touching it, but gosh, it takes one time, right? I mean, if that were to give way on that side over there with people in the middle of it, that'd be catastrophic. And it's just not worth the risk. So I hate it like anybody to think about shutting it down, but because we've had to do it before, it's very unpopular. But gosh, I'd hate to see somebody. I mean, think about somebody, a family with their little kids out there, and that thing give way. I mean, I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
But I think wintertime complicates the
Right,
situation.
sure. So I mean,
No, it's okay.
whatever you guys think, but that's just my take on
Yeah.
it.
My sense is we probably need to close the bridge.
And when you say close, what do you mean? You mean like put a gate up there and say keep off? Or do you mean,
Similar to what we've done with the ramp down to the special people's platform. Special people's platform.
I would like to see the engineer report before I make a decision to close that bridge. That bridge is really important to the citizens, the people that live on Dark Island to get to Townsend. A lot of them walk over, otherwise they have to go all the way around. I just don't see without engineering documentation that we can just say, it's not safe, we're not going to do it. That's my opinion.
Well, that
How
was
long
kind
before
of,
we can get the engineering documentation?
that I don't know. But that was kind of the suggestion from the attorney. If we didn't want to go ahead and just close it and keep it open in the short term until we get the engineering document, just put the signs up there that, you know, clearly state it's
All
not
right.
safe for future term rest.
Yeah, If it's like Chief is reporting, we can close it and get the engineering report, and then if it seems like it's safe, we can open it back up. Commissioners, other points of view?
Mayor, can I interject just a little bit?
Chief Downs.
And more of my risk management hat here. Tennessee tort liability, and I'm not gonna go against what Will Wills, the fine attorney. If the city knows, the government entity knows there's an issue, and you have an injury or something that occurs after knowing that issue, it's not, are you gonna write a check, it's how big of a check are you gonna write? I agree completely with Chief Condi. With people looking at it, with Chico's an engineer, and with people who look at the bridge, the pretty thing to do is for y'all to close that bridge. I mean, I can't imagine you wouldn't.
Hey, Mayor, I have seen it, what it does, you know, with people on it. When we was over, I talked to the gentleman that owns the property, I've actually was like forward on it, and you can actually see the concrete move. I mean, it is really dangerous.
With all due respect, Commissioner Jenkins, I don't think we have any other option here. Okay, we'll close the bridge and we'll get the maintenance or the engineering report as quick as we can. Okay.
And Mayor, for me and stuff, I'm sending an email out. If they don't have anybody that does that, then I'm sure I'll be able to get an engineering firm that will be able to do that.
Thank you, Commissioner Head. Okay, let's move on to the recreation report. Commissioner Satterfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually, this month, printed off the report, so you all have a copy of it in front of you. And I'm just gonna point out the highlights, I won't read the entire page, so, okay. So Christmas parade applications are now open until November 27th. And we are having that Christmas community gathering here Friday, December 6th from 5 to 8 at City Hall. We actually are looking to have the Townsend Elementary Choir and the Townsend Community Choir to join us, as well as possibly the Appalachian Bear Rescue. Since the theme of this year's parade is a very Merry Christmas, we wanted to invite them to maybe do some education and outreach while they're here during Christmas. Number 3, we decided as a Parks and Rec board to sponsor a banner that will be hung in the gymnasium at Townsend Elementary School. Right now, they're fundraising for the athletic department towards the renovation of the new gym floor. And so, as well as there's actually seeking sponsorships for businesses or organizations or clubs that want to sponsor a banner in the gymnasium. So I believe you just reach out to the school if you want to sponsor a banner in the gym. We have a sorting party scheduled tentatively for November the 6th at 5 o'clock to sort through our first big bag of caps and lids, possibly our second bag. So we've got a barrel in the lobby and it's almost full again. So we'll have about 2 big bags to go through. I'm going to skip on down to number 6. We have a couple of programs to keep an eye out for. One being the yoga class taught by resident and instructor Vanessa Ledbetter.
And then also, Penny McIntosh, she also wants to talk to us about doing a fall prevention program and movement assessment class because she's a functional aging specialist. So she actually attended the Parks and Rec Board and she talked to us a little bit about that. And these programs are in the works. We're thrilled to bring both of these classes to the public as soon as we have more information, but we do have, to work with Will Carver, the city attorney, to draft up a hold harmless agreement for the instructors as well as a waiver for anyone who participates in a class up here, especially if it's fitness related. So the instructor would sign one as well as the participants. We've got bingo night scheduled for October 21st, so if you haven't already RSVP'd for that, we've still got some seats open for that. And I'll go ahead and skip on down to number 9 regarding the Special People's Park Ramp project. So the Parks and Rec Board has decided to work with MTAS Public Works consultant Brad Peters on the development of an RFQ for the architectural and engineering qualifications. And Brad is going to be doing a site visit of the park on this Thursday, the 17th, in the morning, I think at 11 a.m. Brad has informed us of the necessary steps in this process, which I did forward you all an email about with accordance to the RFQ steps, similar to how we handled the community plan process. So, let's see, that was a very big paragraph that I put in there. Yes, okay. And also we consulted with, he is a resident and consulting architect, Mike Bryant. Some of you may know Mr. Bryant. So he has agreed to kind of be with us through this process, be alongside us as just somebody that we can consult with as far as the RFQ qualification. So the RFQ is really the first step, one that I wish we had decided on first months ago, because we were going out and trying to find these professionals, these architects and these engineers, but actually what we should have done from the beginning is done the RFQ and had them come to us if they were interested. So that's the way that we're going to move with that RFQ once it gets developed. But Brad will be coming to do a better assessment of the park so that he can develop a more accurate RFQ. And I think there's a lot more that I typed up for you all, but that's pretty much the highlights.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Satterfield. Questions from commissioners? A lot of good work going on by our Parks and Rec Committee. Commissioner Satterfield, do you need a resolution by the Board of Commissioners to move forward with the RFQ process? Is that going to incur any cost to the city?
If it incurs costs, we'll need to do a resolution.
Okay. I don't know yet.
Okay.
So Brad is just going to come do the site visit first, and then I thought we would go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure yet on the RFQ. When he emailed us back with Angie Carrier on that email, we did not discuss that yet. So,
My guess is you might.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'll be here Thursday, so we can talk about it then. But I don't need any action on anything. That's just kind of the route that we are thinking would be the best route to go for the architectural and engineering plans that we need for that park.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. To Townsend Catesville Gateway Alliance. Jill or anyone?
Jill wanted me to let you all know that she has a sick kid at home, so she had to miss tonight.
Okay. Very good. Send some prayers to her. Okay. Next up is update on the community plan. We've got a big week, I understand, coming up.
Have a big week. Yep.
David Hope.
Hello, everybody, commissioners, everybody. Yes, Friday, 4:30 to 6:30, community outreach, public, open forum, very engaging, very one-on-one. It'd be really, really good. This is our time for our consultants to come in and chat with all the people of interest, and I mean all the people of interest. We got our postcards together. I want to thank Christina Delaney for helping with that process. Got a great looking postcard. It went out to everybody. We actually saved on the postage because we kind of hitchhiked on the little help from the guys over there. I saw them running up and down my road too, so good seeing you guys. And then we're moving forward from there. We had a really good meeting. The meetings are prior to the commission meeting. We had a really great meeting tonight. A lot of conversation. We heard from two of our senior advisors, Ron Daniels and Pat Jenkins. It's really good to start having some more engagement like this. And we also got a presentation from from Ida from SC Group. So we are moving forward. After this public forum this Friday, then all the survey data and everything will start getting kind of dogpiled and the hard work will really begin. So we're doing really good. I encourage everybody to come out to our meetings. They start at 5 o'clock prior to the commission meetings. Any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How is the meeting on Friday structured? Because I've had several people ask me, do I have to get there at 4:30 or do I miss it?
Yeah, I don't have the, and I apologize for not having the agenda. It is, do we have one of the postcards on here?
Yeah, it's a drop-in session.
Well, come on. You know, wait.
I do apologize that, everything's a learning thing and these are way too small in the back, so I know that's a problem. So anybody I've seen, I've told them, you don't have to come at 4:30, you can just drop in anytime between 4:30 and 6:30, try to give yourself a half hour. And do apologize for that, like I said, learning.
So when they drop in, will they be talking to the SE group? Will they be talking to you guys as a group? Will they take Dave aside and tell him what they think? How's this work?
Yeah, there's going to be boards, I don't know, what did you say, maybe about 10 boards, and there'll be a lot of getting your opinion with dots, putting dots on the boards on, where you think you agree on those. So that'll be part of it, plenty of discussion. The CPAC group will be there. And then the consultants will be there, and also EDD will be there. So willing to talk to everybody.
So will you have paperwork that they can fill out, or people that you're talking to, write those down? Will you have a city recorder? I know a lot of places, you have a public meeting, you'll have a city recorder that people can go and talk to and get their statements?
No, that is nothing that we've discussed at all. First I've heard of something like that. It's going to be pretty much, I think, done with dots, basically, in conversations.
Yeah, my understanding is it's not a city meeting, it's a public information gathering. So what I heard earlier is we're not making decisions at that meeting, we're just soliciting information and feedback from community members. So there'll be ways to share your opinion in a variety of amounts. But yeah, it's just trying to listen to what people want to bring.
Yeah.
What are the dots?
That's going to be on the board. She showed a, oh, you actually weren't here, so I'm sorry. That would be good if we had that, I guess. There's going to be boards, and then it'll just ask your opinion. Do you think there's too much traffic? Or, I don't know what the questions are exactly off the top of my head, but it'll be a whole list. Do we have a lot of traffic? Do we have little traffic? Whatever it is, and then you put your dot, and that's how we're going to, everything's about dots, I guess.
There's, there are some dots, so there's questions.
Katie,
there's
come on up,
boards,
come on up.
Yeah. Katie's probably pretty good at this.
We got the whole group here.
Well, it's an open house, it's a facilitated engagement opportunity for people to come and join and share their opinions. So there are some specific questions as to, what do you like about Townsend? What do you want to change? What do you want to keep the same? What values do you have? Like all sorts of different questions in different formats. Some are open format where people can write in. Some are like put a dot on things that you identify with. Essentially, it's just an information gathering opportunity. And there are, multiple ways. There is a kids table, so if you have a family and you want to bring your kids, there's entertainment for the kids. I think there's maybe some other things, but the consultants have really put in some energy and thoughtfulness into how to best bring about the different ways that people can be engaged in it. So.
I know a lot of times they, I go back to the court reporter, but for that, for older people or people who can't write or anything else, that way they can speak their stuff.
Yeah, there are people
recorded.
at individual stations that can also document those conversations as well. So, I think the attempt has been to be as inclusive as possible, to incorporate as many different types of needs that people might have, be accessible to everyone. Thank you for thinking of that.
Good job, Katie. Yeah. So, and like I say, just to kind of springboard off of that, this is where we've had the survey that's been online, it's been electronic. We've had information in the paper, we're using all social media forums, and then, you can't pass up the in-person forum, because that's the best one to have, so that's how we're kind of climaxing this process. So, there is a lot going on. It's kind of like a science fair. There's tables and stuff going on. It should be fairly interactive. Should be good, yeah.
Okay. Refreshments, light refreshments.
Light refreshments.
Okay.
I
Very good.
put in the order for Andy's.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
I told them we
Let's
were.
stay on the community plan.
And I'm picking them up, so.
Okay, now, we've come to that part of our meeting, it's a long meeting. Public input for items on the agenda. So now we have two opportunities for input, so you can provide input on items that are on the agenda. And then at the end of the meeting, we have another opportunity for items that are not on the agenda. And we also have a list of folks that have signed up to speak. So we'll recognize them first, and then I'll recognize anybody else that would like to come and provide public input.
It looks like everybody that signed up is on the agenda.
Okay?
So they want to wait till the agenda item comes up.
Okay.
But we don't have anybody else.
Nobody specifically? Mr. Aker, would you like to address the board commissioners?
Thank you. My name is Mike Aker. I own the property at 7511 Old Highway 73. My family's owned this piece of property for 67 years. And upon trying to park my motorhome on the property that we've owned long before Townsend had any zoning, I became aware of an urgent need for the public to attend this community plan update, this community meeting this coming Friday. Upon researching Townsend zoning, I have learned that virtually all of Townsend is zoned for big business, yet everybody in Townsend wants to preserve Townsend being like Townsend, but it is primed the way it is zoned right now for it to be Pigeon Forge version 2. There's nothing that can stop it the way it's currently zoned, so it's ultra critical that people show up and voice that they don't want it zoned big business in Townsend. I have to build a business on my property in order to use it. Can't build a house, can't do anything else because of Townsend zoning. It is absurd, and the people need to speak up about it if we truly don't want Townsend to be Pigeon Forge. So please, everyone, go to this meeting. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aker. Okay, any other public input for items on the agenda? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
The
Commissioner
community
Everett.
plan is important for the future, but we also need an update now to take care of certain things. So they need to come to the community plan, but they also need to come to meetings now and voice their things so we can get those updated as well.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hibbert. All right, Commissioners, let's move ahead. New business. It's almost 8:30. Next, first item on new business, Tyler Mays, the Gov app, citywide app and website. Mr. Mays?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the sake of time, I know you have documentation. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have for me. And kind of piggybacking off of what the police chief and the fire chief talked about, how close Townsend was to becoming part of the northern and eastern part of Tennessee. This app, in addition to your website, could serve as an instant notification to your citizens. There's features to where if there is an evacuation, if things change rapidly, a way to notify your folks, whether it's an evacuation or an update on a shelter or whatever the situation may be. The app has a capability to do those instant notifications for your residents. And let me do say, I did forget for the record, I am Tyler Mays with the Gov app. Also send greetings from Anderson County. I live in Anderson County, Tennessee, and serve on commission there. So I appreciate the positions that you're in. And I also can tell you as a former customer of the app, and now an employee, it enhanced community engagement and increased transparency tenfold for us. Most recently, the gentleman talked about Pigeon Forge. Chief Gatlett and their department has an app. The city of Gatlinburg went with us on an app just recently. Chief Condi was one of our big grand prize winners at the TACP meeting, and that's how our conversation started. So I can tell you, no town is too small or too big for an app. We have towns as small as 300 people, and we also are in the city of Atlanta. So it's wide ranging. It's all about getting your message to your residents, being transparent, all of the things that you see on a website can be on your app. You get to control the narrative as the city. And so the cool thing, I will just leave this, the cool thing about the app and the website is they basically, if you update one, you're updating the other. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. But I would love to answer. I know that I'm chairman of commission, so I always try to be, I always look at that clock too. So I want to be respectful of your time. So I would happy to answer any questions that you may have about this. I do want to thank you for allowing me to come and present or just chat with you about it. And thanks to Chief Condi and for Gayla also for bringing me up and giving me this opportunity. But happy to answer any questions you may have about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mays. I think we talked about this at a previous meeting, and we got some cost estimates in terms of what it might cost. What were those estimates? Just
so for
the couple of figures.
Yeah, so for the website and for the app to total, the year one cost, I actually just looked at it. I will just tell you, she is a great negotiator. My boss, you guys should love her. My boss did not love me for being so weak. But it is, for both, would be year one, would be just under 10,000, so it's like 9,985. There would be a reoccurring cost. And so what we did for year one is we waived the development of the website, and we also waived the annual support and maintenance. So to get you guys at a price that, I hope Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg are not listening.
Okay, so 10K in the first year, and
yeah.
What about in the second year?
It's probably in that 5 range, I believe is what it was. Just under 6,000 annually in that. And I will tell you, as a former client, I was the public information officer at the sheriff's office before I joined the company. And I can tell you it was my best friend. Social media it's not as good for the public as it used to be with all the algorithms, and your folks have to be looking for that information. This is an opportunity for you, again, to control it. So having someone that mans this, and not having to work on the social media platforms, but we also, social media is still relevant, so we integrate with social media. So if Chief Conde wants to send out a message that says Road X is closed due to a motor vehicle accident, it will also integrate with Facebook, and it will create a native post to Facebook. And so it's integrating it for that as well. So that's the cost there.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions for Mr. Hayes?
Is access to this app just limited, for instance, people that live in this area though? Or can
No,
anybody?
Townsend, of course, you all are on the peaceful side, as you say, of the Smokies, but you all are no secret. As a Claxton kid in Anderson County, I've been in Townsend a whole bunch. So, it will be open to anybody. It'll be free to download on the Google and the Apple stores.
Okay.
So Gail, do you have examples of other cities that have this app that I can get from you so I can go look at what other
I
people
think you
have?
said Gatlinburg and
Yeah, or
Pittsburgh.
you can just go in and download their app
Okay,
and scroll
Yeah.
through it and see.
all right, I may need help getting there. as
Okay.
you know.
How about that?
Okay.
Chief Conde?
Mayor, I would just like to add that, from the public safety standpoint, we had initially looked at doing just the police department app, but, I think it just makes more sense, mainly because of our size, our small size, to do a citywide app and incorporate all the departments into that. And I think the fire department could be included in this as well. It would give us an opportunity and we could obviously help anybody that had any problems uploading an app to their phone, getting it on their phone. We could help them set that up. It's not a problem. But the ability for us to send out notifications in such that are so time sensitive, especially like evacuation notices, like for natural gas leaks or propane leaks. We don't have natural gas much here to do with propane leaks, things like that. Wildland fire, things like that. It's just using technology that's available to enhance our city services. When you look at the cost, I think it's a pretty nominal amount compared to the benefit. So if you're looking at a cost benefit analysis, it's a no-brainer to me. I think it's just, and I will say, and Gail maybe can comment further if she wants to on this, but I know that the difficulties that she faces with managing our current website and how it is built and formatted. It I think requires a lot more technical application. I think this will be a lot more user-friendly for her. And again, like he said, when you're updating one, you'll simultaneously be updating the other, the counterpart. So again, work smarter, not harder, and this is an example of that. So I just think it's just a no-brainer for the city. It's a small cost to pay for such a benefit for the community. We want to do things for our residents, right? This is it. This is one thing that I don't see a downside to it. Huge benefit for our residents. They'll have links on this app where they can go in and pay a citation. They can go to Parks and Rec and just press the button and see all the things Parks and Rec is doing. We can and notifications don't have to be limited to bad things. Notifications can be, hey, a reminder, city a meeting tonight, City Hall, whatever. Send out reminders for city meetings. So the list is pretty much endless as what we could do with this application. to benefit our residents and also those folks that come here part-time or come here just to visit. They can access this app and learn things that they need to know while they're visiting. So just, again, I feel like it's something that I wish we'd had 7 years ago.
So like when you had to shut the road down in the curves for setting the little bear trap, that's something you can say, oh, use the back road if you need to
It's
get
so
down
easy.
sooner.
So easy. I call Gayla, hey, we're doing such and such, she can get on there and send it out.
Yeah, and the access to just really good. If he was there, I mean, he, on his phone, just sends it out real quick, and even with images and, you know, it's really kind of what your preference would be, but those are things that can be done. You know, if Gayla takes a trip to Europe and needs to send something out for Townsend, I mean, she can do it from there, and it's an instant notification to the folks who have it.
And I like the fact that more than one person can update it.
Yes.
Because right now I'm the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, and that's one of the things in support that we do. That's kind of what I'm here for, and others would be there for. Just what little time I spend here, she does a lot, and, you know, we would definitely be there to help her out.
I got one more question about capability. She's talking about the bear getting hit on the curbs. Good example. And you said you can send out information on the app. Does that mean there will be an alert go out to everybody that's signed up for that app? Like we get from the Park Service about river level?
Yeah, it would be similar to a text message.
Okay.
It'd pop on your phone, and then you just click on it, and it would.
Okay. So there would be an alert.
It would.
You'd know to go look at it if you were interested.
Yeah,
Okay.
and even if you weren't, into the National Weather Service, forgot to mention this. It's an automatic integration. So if there's any kind of weather alert that comes from the National Weather Service, then it's going to send an automatic alert to the users as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mays. Any other questions,
Gayla,
Commissioner?
what do we spend now roughly on the website? Maintenance and,
Probably about 1,200. And I'm having to watch a copious amount of YouTube videos to be able to update and get the website full of me and coding.
thank you, ma'am.
I like doing things for our residents. I think, you know, that we've described a whole bunch of situations here where this could be something to be very beneficial to our residents. So I think we'll take this under consideration. As you've heard tonight, we have a lot of budget priorities. We got lawnmowers, we got bridges, we got platforms, and so I don't disagree that it sounds like there's some good opportunities here. Commissioners, would you like to think about this one? Bring it back?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, we'll look at it. There will be a time coming up pretty soon where we'll be revisiting our budget priorities and see how much we have, so far this year. I think I understood maybe in November, December timeframe, so that might be when we would take a look. So,
I have one more question. How many users can you have not as individuals, but to be accessed it? Like can Chief Condi access it and Chief Stallions and Gayla be able to access those?
Yeah, it'd be up to you guys.
Okay.
It's unlimited, but
Okay.
of course I recommend to be very judicious with some of that, but yeah, it'd be unlimited. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mason.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, continuing things to all of our citizens and folks, it's a long one tonight, so bless your hearts for your patience. Let's go to the next agenda item. This one is EPA Community Grant Proposal. So, Katie McCleary.
Good evening. So again, for the record, my name is Katie McCleary. I am the president and CEO at Tremont. So I'm here representing Tremont, but also a volunteer of the Community Advisory Planning Board. I see my role on that board is to listen to residents, listen to the needs of the community, and try and find solutions. So my value on that board is the fact that I can do some grant writing. And I have recently come across a grant from the EPA. It's a community change grant, and it is a transformative grant. So it's large-scale funding And it's really to support community needs. It's written in a way that is very prescriptive as to listening to the community what they want. Coming from my work at as part of the community plan, I know that access to nature, access to clean air and healthy water is important. We see the destruction that our neighbors are facing in Western North Carolina right now, and I think our response to extreme weather events is more important than ever. This grant is written to address those concerns through climate action strategies and pollution reduction strategies. And so right now I am asking the city to entertain joining Tremont as a partner for the grant. It's federal funding, so it does require a partnership agreement. Tremont would serve as the lead applicant and would be a pass-through funding for the city of Townsend. The current scope of that grant is funding parks and recreation spaces, green spaces, energy investments, community preparedness, community response. There's a section that I've thought about addressing waste management. One of the pollution reductions is on waste management, so looking at recycling centers for the city, looking at compost solutions so that we're taking food waste out of our trash cans so that we see less wildlife conflict, less bears that are in our trash cans and bears that are eating pancakes on the side of the road. And so I am looking at the opportunity to really serve a lot of need. I think when we look at green spaces, I've already heard tonight, the Special People's Park has needs, the bridge has needs, those are within the scope of the grant. The government app is within the scope of the grant. We can put in that funding into that to support the community's preparedness for climate, increasing weather events. I think there's an opportunity to look at water quality, opportunity to look at water levels and flood risks and wildfire risks. So essentially everything that I've heard tonight, I think that we can put funding into the grant for, and I think that there's a need. I'm asking the Board of Commissioners to agree to let Tremont and the City of Townsend enter into a partnership agreement to pursue this grant. It is not something that is guaranteed. It's a federal grant, so it means that when we are hiring contractors, we would need to look at a competitive bidding process. And so there are some stipulations, but I'm hoping that we can at least apply for this grant together, and that if we get the funds, can make some real positive investment for the city and the residents. So I'm sure you have questions, and I'm here to answer any of this.
Can you send us the grant information so we can read through it?
It's a 100-page NOFO. I can send you the grant. I can also send you a one-pager that I think was already submitted to, I sent it to the, I think you have it. I don't know if people have seen it yet. But yeah, it's something I can absolutely send.
I would like you to send me the whole grant. I love reading stuff, as everybody knows, and I'll go through it page by page.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you the notice of funding and then go forward. There's also a partnership agreement that I would probably ask the city attorney to review before you signed it.
Would you have to have all your information for the grant?
And that's a great question. So the grant is a rolling grant application, so I'm hoping to submit it by the end of next week. So there is a time crunch. It is a proposal. There's a long approval process that we would have to present to the EPA for it. So at this point, there's an opportunity for us to put in real data, real numbers based on future projections.
What is the deadline actually on the grant? Is that in a week and a half or?
No, it's November 21st. Excuse me. I have heard from the EPA, from the technical assistance people, that do not wait, the money will run out. It's a rolling grant application, so our chances decrease every day that we don't submit. So my preference is to submit this by the end of next week.
When did you find out about it?
I have been looking at this grant for months. As of 3 weeks ago, the map for what's considered available for this funding changed, and it started to include more of the city of Townsend. And so that has allowed us to be accessible for this.
Kenny, how much is this grant? I mean, how much?
The grant itself could be up to $20 million. The funds for the city of Townsend, I think right now with what I'm hearing, I've tallied up to about $3 million. I mean, it could be a significant investment. And it would have to, I mean, we would not get this grant if it wasn't supported by the community. That's really clear. So I'm not trying to, push the funds in any way other than what the community's asking for.
And it would include some of the things we talked about tonight. I'm really concerned, one of the things that hit home with the hurricanes is that should we have a need to be able to house our residents if we weren't able to evacuate, if the water came up and cut off our bridges, this city hall, we have tried to make it so that it could be reinforced, so that it could, provide some center for operations, but it's not that big, and it would likely become a command post, I would guess. And we would have the people that are actually the responders that would be here. I'm not sure that, we would not necessarily have, facilities for our residents, and that's something that sounds like this grant would potentially be able to address. In addition, if we did want to build some sustainability things that could cover like solar panels and batteries so that we could be autonomous here, I think we could, and we could support some of our clean water infrastructure potentially with this grant as well. So things like the water quality monitoring that we've been doing in the Little River would be able to be put in there. And then you mentioned something about recycling. I think we hit this on the community plan. People want to know if we can do any recycling around here. And that would be covered too?
Yeah, that would be covered. And then we have a board member and the director of Beautiful here. I'm sorry. I think they can provide some support assistance consulting for recycling collection for the residents. But that's part of the scope as well. And to speak to the community resilience, I think that's a big part of the funding that we're looking at is having treatment facilities serve as a community hub. So in an event, we would, because of the renewable energy we're putting in and the water treatment systems, we'd be able to provide electricity and clean water to residents if infrastructure did fail. And so when we see landslides that threaten our water supply, we could potentially serve as a support capacity for the residents in the community.
Does this require any matching funds?
No, this does not require any matching funds. This is an EPA grant that is targeting specific communities, and so no matching funds. So I'm not asking for any money, I'm asking for the authority to go out and find money for the city. And I think that it can do some really powerful things. So, but yeah, it's federal funds, and it's a really quick timeline, and I recognize that, so I'm just asking for your support. Thank you so much. Speaking of clean water access, I think that's great.
We'll give you a moment to take a breath, and Commissioners, let's have some discussion on this.
Perhaps one of us should work with her to make sure that city commission's thoughts are interjected in this, so it won't come as a complete surprise when she comes next month and we go, well, wait a minute, you didn't include this, this, and this.
My sense is we don't have that much time. If we want to take action on this tonight, we could. If we want to think about it, I don't think we have a whole lot of time, but we could have a special call meeting.
I would say tonight is really what I need to get the grant submitted. I recognize that there's a lot of engagement that needs to happen. Part of this grant is a collective engagement, and it's a community engagement, collective structure, government structure. So it requires community committees that are tasked with soliciting feedback, tasked with providing changes to the grant as they're learning more information. You will read that when you read the grant.
I won't get to read that until not tonight. We want to take action tonight. I haven't seen this, so I don't have any idea what I'm voting on.
But no, I understand. I'm asking for the Board of Commissioners to give him the authority when he can sign the partnership agreement so we can submit it. I'm not asking to submit it without you reading it. I'm just saying that tonight is the night that the there needs to be a resolution that gives him the power to sign it, then that's what I'm asking for.
I have a problem, I think, if you knew about this 3 weeks ago, why didn't you let us know before then, that we could get started on it? And then you're coming tonight asking for us to make a decision just like that we know nothing about. And you're saying that Tremont gets zero money at all?
No, Tremont gets money, you would be the pass-through entity. Tremont would get money, Maryville College for their water quality study would get money, the city of Townsend would get money. There's a lot of opportunities. I am without giving an opportunity to give the city money. I'm not asking for anything from the city.
Okay, it made it sound like that grant was to get us money, just us $3 million.
It's to give the community money, and I consider Tremont a community organization.
How long would it take you probably to read through 100 pages if we did decide to do an extra call meeting? When do you think you could read through that?
It would take me through Sunday. If I really get at it, because I'll have to make lots of notes, and probably ask questions.
Well, tonight's Tuesday. What if we got the information, we had it by the end, sometime before the end of the week? We could get together again on Thursday night?
Let's see, that's a week from today.
I'm struggling with, I recognize that you want to know what's in the grant.
I want to know what's in the grant, I want to know how it's structured, I want to know all the details. I'm a detail guy.
Understood. I think there is a lot of opportunities to reject the funding later if you don't agree with what's in the grant. I think submitting the grant proposal starts that process. And so I will 100% let you read the notice of funding and give me the opportunity to do that, but I'm not asking you to accept anything other than maybe some potential funding to serve the needs that I've heard this evening.
I just want to say, thank you, Kate. I mean, this sounds amazing. Thank you so much for doing that and presenting it so well. I just don't see how there's any reason to hesitate, because you could always, there's nothing that you're not buying anything, you're not signing, you maybe not even going to get it. So, gosh, you got somebody willing to do that for you. That's the way I see it. I mean, gosh, thanks.
Let's have a little discussion quickly. Commissioner Satterfield?
I think it sounds like a really good opportunity. I would like some more information about it, but I mean, to me, we don't really have anything to lose by going for it.
Thank you.
Martin?
I would like to be able to look at some more information. It sounds wonderful, but there's always those little fine lines and that I would like to at least have a look at it before. So yes, everything sounds wonderful. I mean, grant money is amazing, and most of them are legit, and there's no repercussions usually. So, but
Okay, Commissioner Hedrick? Okay, when do you think you'd be ready?
I feel like I've already told you, but I need to see, I can't just blindly say what's good.
Okay.
So I need to have it, read it, I might have to ask questions, I don't know. Might have to do some searching.
Chief Connie, you wanted to come in on this?
Yeah, just since it has a potential to affect our wheelhouse and our operations, and the residents here. So what I'm taking from what she's saying is, this is a preliminary act to get on board with the grant writing, which she is so graciously offering to do for us, which is huge undertaking. So this money, if you go ahead and agree to do it, and you find out later there's stipulations that you don't like in the city, you don't want the city involved in or encumbered by, you can simply opt out and not take the money. You're not getting yourself by that. If you go and vote to enter into the partnership, you're not the way we want it, it has too many stipulations that we can't go with or abide by. We just don't want that money. If you don't take the money, then you're not on the hook with federal government for anything. If you don't put in for the money, don't take the money. So the downside by not taking action right now is it kind of puts her, it's adverse for her because she's on a time crunch, like she said. So I just don't see the issue with going ahead and moving forward with something when it's such a potential, just huge positive impact for the city. If you miss out just because of being overly cautious, man, that could be a huge loss for the city. So again, if it was a deal where you're agreeing to do something without any escape hatch, and you were locking yourselves into something, fully understand you're being cautious, totally, and you'd be well within your rights to do that. And you can do that if that's what you want to do. I just want to say, based on what she said, the impact for the city from the public safety standpoint is potentially huge as far as our preparedness for natural disasters, wildland fires, things like that. I could, and I'm sure the chief definitely has needs I know of that are huge, big ticket items that we will never be able to afford on our regular city budget, and he will never be able to afford on his budget. So there's tanker trucks, there's things that we don't have that we need that could be written into this grant, and gosh, I just hate to miss out on the window of opportunity here. So you guys do what you want. It's my opinion. It's not a feelings thing here. I just want to throw that out there. So I respect you guys' opinion, absolutely. So, but I just sometimes opportunities arise and you just got to snatch them right then, or you miss out. And I feel like based on what she's saying, it's maybe one of those times. So, but let's get it. Let's do it. I mean, that's me. But you guys, again, I totally respect your opinion.
And my thought is if it was that time critical 3 weeks ago, we should have had a call meeting and got it going.
I disagree. I mean, I've been doing the research. It took me a long time to come up with a grant strategy to understand how to incorporate everything that we might need. I didn't know before tonight about this government app. Like, those are things that I think I need input on, and I recognize that the time crunch is really short, but I think that's a value that we can do, is we can do this together. We can put funding into a grant, but we need to ask for the money first, and that's the time crunch. So I'm sorry that 3 weeks is 3 weeks too late in your mind, but I hope that you will get to the point of saying, yes, let's go after this grant, because it has a potential for some really big opportunities for Townsend.
If 3 weeks wasn't bad enough, what's wrong with early next week to give us time to read the grant?
I think we've already established that that's what you need, and so, yeah, I'm gonna give you the grant information. I'm just saying, like, I'm here offering to write a grant for the city of Townsend. I'm here to write a grant that provides funding. And I understand that it's being met with skepticism, but I'm just trying to say that I'm here trying to listen to the community and provide resources that the community doesn't have. And that's all. So.
Okay, let me ask a question about time. If we don't meet your timeline, does that mean the opportunity is forever gone, or does that mean you have to wait till next quarter to apply again?
I don't know if the EPA will have this funding next year. I know that I have been told the money will run out before the 21st. So in my mind, I'm going to do everything I can to get this application in by the end of next week. And so whatever you need to get you on board to support that, I can do.
Let me ask it another way. Did the EPA have the same grant program last year?
No, so the EPA, this funding is part of the infrastructure funding. So a lot might happen on November 5th that could change the availability of this grant funding. That's another reason to get this submitted as soon as possible. Yeah, there's a lot of factors here that could change the availability of these funds.
So when did you start working on it to write this 100-page document?
I've been working 12-hour days for the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
Straight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a lot. But I think there's some real value, and I think that there's an opportunity to bring funding here. So I understand their skepticism, and I'm just asking for your approval to move forward.
Chief Salians, looks like you wanted to weigh in on this.
We deal with a lot of grants in the county and have different ways that we go through with the commission know we're wanting to apply. We've got one on next Thursday that we've got going through. Grants have changed, especially these are connected to the recent funds that have come out of the federal government. The last one we did, you just said, hey, we're interested, and then they hold your place. Then you go back and apply. Is this on vouchers? Are they using the vouchers on this one?
No.
Because that's the one that we're using. I need, Chief's right. I mean, $250,000, no. Plus $500,000 down for a tanker. You're talking $250,000 for a wildland truck. We're talking about a lot of needs that we have, and something like this could help. She's just investigating it. She's just going to put it in. I agree with the chief. It's not, I understand that before you sign anything, you want to know what you're signing. You're really not signing anything. You're just giving her permission to go ahead and say, hey, we're interested. And hey, we're a 501c3, so I'm the director of the board as well, so if you got something for us, the answer is yes.
They have some money. If they were electric lawnmowers, I could put that in there. I don't know that they would want gas powered, but there's so many opportunities here. I'm just
Okay.
honestly trying
Let me
to
ask
get
you
some
a quick question
money.
here. Commissioner Jenkins, what would you read in there that would cause you not to want to apply for this grant? What kind of things would be
I
in
have
there?
no idea. Without reading it, I don't know what's in it. I don't know what it's composed of. I don't know how many sections there are. I don't know what the statements there are. I don't know anything.
Okay, but there's nothing that's bothering you, you've read a grant before that you didn't like, that you thought
Yes,
might?
I've read grants before I didn't like and had to have them modified.
And what did they have, what kind of features did they have that would make you not want to apply for this?
They had management issues with the grants, who was managing what part of it, who was delegating, who was approving.
We would go pass through, so I would give the city money and then you have all the approvals you need to spend it.
Give me all.
That's how it works.
So you're just asking for us to approve for you to go ahead and start the process of
Yes.
writing this grant?
I need a signature, I need a partnership agreement, which says Townsend, the city of Townsend and Tremont will enter into partnership to pursue this grant. I'm asking for the Board of Commissioners to give him the power to sign that piece of paper.
And can we, if we agree tonight, can we have our attorney look at it before?
Yes, as I said earlier, it's a legal document. I would like the city attorney to review it and make sure that they're comfortable with that language. There is at no point a commitment to say, yes, we are on the hook for these funds to build it as we want. You can turn it down. There's still a long approval process that we would have to pursue this grant together. So, yeah,
So she took words in her mouth. She called it a legal document. I'm not going to vote for a legal document that I've never read.
you will have read it. It is the partnership agreement which gives us the authority to work together on this grant. Okay,
Special
I will
call?
send information.
Okay. This is really hard for me to believe, but what if we had a special call meeting Thursday night? That gives you 2 days to take a look at it.
Or we can vote and see where we're at.
Yeah.
All right,
I
somebody
can
wants to
send
put a
you
motion on the table?
Thursday.
I'd accept the motion.
I make a motion to go into agreement with Tremont to pursue this grant opportunity after the lawyer has looked and made sure that the agreement is applicable and in our best interest of the city.
Okay, Have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
How long is it gonna take him to look at it?
How long would it take him to look at what? The attorney?
He's usually pretty quick. I'd say a day or two. We got a motion and a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed without reading.
Okay. The motion passes. We've got 2 opposed and 3 in favor.
Appreciate it.
When will you be able to get that document together so she can get it to our lawyer?
I have a copy of it right there.
Okay.
So it's a draft agreement. It says it's a draft. It can be changed as needed by the city attorney. When we both agree to it and he can sign it, then I can submit it with the grant. So,
Okay.
thank you.
We will come back with all the information on this grant. Commissioners, let's go ahead and, it's after 9 o'clock. Let's move to the next item. This is ordinance number 314-24-1P. An ordinance amending the City of Townsend zoning map to rezone parcel 09707.00 of Blount County, Tennessee, tax map 97 from B1 Tourist Business to B3 Highway Business District. You've got an ordinance in your packet. This comes with a recommendation from the Planning Commission. This is a parcel next to the Tally Ho. Would someone like to speak to this?
While he's handing those out, we were talking about being with the agenda transparent. For this one, you have the parcel and tax map, but it would have been nice to put the address on there so that people wouldn't have to go to the web tax property and look up the tax map, and that way they'd kind of have a little bit better, easier time knowing where it's located.
I think that's a fair point, Commissioner Hedrick, and I would suggest, I think this is going to take 2 readings, so I would suggest that if it passes tonight, if it comes back again, that we would add the street address. And I believe also it has to be noticed, and we plan to place a sign if it goes to a second reading. But that's a good observation. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Brett Stewart, and thank you for taking the time. I'll keep it brief, as I know we're at the 9 o'clock hour, but I do want to hit some highlights. The same highlights that I shared with the Planning Commission last week. And the first is that, as mentioned, we are under contract to purchase this parcel, and it is only a portion of parcel 097071. It is the 5.22 acre parcel that you see on pages 2 and 3. It is, there are 2 different sections of that parcel with 2 different deeds. We are only under contract for the portion in orange there on page 3. We are not, this has nothing to do with the portion of the property that resides up the hill, so simply the parcels that lie between the Tally-Ho Inn and the Heritage Center. And you can, as mentioned, you can see those on page 2 and 3. As it was read that this parcel is currently zoned B1, like all of the other parcels in this area. However, we are requesting, and the Planning Commission has recommended, that this be changed to a B3 zoning. And we believe that change would be more technical in nature, and I'll explain just very briefly why we believe that. And another point that we want to make is that this would be conditional on our acquisition of this property. This would not take place today, but when we actually close on it. You may be wondering why we have requested this change, and that is because B1, while it does allow for a lot of tourism-related businesses, it does not allow for RV campgrounds, even though those are permitted uses within the town and are businesses that are in existence nearby this parcel today. We also believe that while a campground is permitted, it is also consistent with the stated goals of B1, even though it's not allowed.
The stated goals is to promote tourism, and so again, that is sort of the justification that it's more of an adjacent and supporting use to what it is B1, and so the switch from B1 to B3 would be more of a technicality. Pages 4, 5, and 6 of that handout are simply pictures of the parcels today. We believe that this undeveloped piece of land really has some key features that make it suitable for this use. One is the visibility, both from a ingress and egress standpoint. It's very visible. There are roads there today which would allow us to have ample room for the RV guests to get off of East Lamar Alexander Parkway, have space for staging and check-in. Second is that this parcel, if you are looking at the elevation, it is about 15 feet higher at the center of the property than the road line, and it's about 225 feet back. And the importance of that is it gives us the ability to make it visually appealing and to sort of beautify or camouflage that from anybody on the outside. And the third is that there's an existing row of tall green trees there that is a green buffer zone between this parcel and the Heritage Center, and it is our intent that we would maintain those and add to the green buffer, continuing to maintain green space and create that look and feel that is consistent with the goals here of Townsend. The last couple of pages are very simply, and this is what we presented to the Planning Commission, just a very early idea of what a site plan might look like. Again, we would need to go through the engineering and design. If we get the approvals for this zoning change, we would fully comply with the RV campground ordinances that you all have laid out, and that will ultimately determine the exact layout and the number of units. But based on some early work that we have done, we believe that there's somewhere in the 50 to 60 units that would be situated on that site, which would be a lower density than some of the RV campgrounds in the immediate area. And then on the last page, you'll see that our plan for the individual RV sites is to keep them spacious, to not crowd them in there, to provide them with the necessary utilities and the amenities that you would expect at an upscale RV park, especially one that would be operated in conjunction with Tally Ho if we acquire this property. And then lastly, I'll just say that, campgrounds have been a part of Townsend's peaceful outdoor recreation for very many years now. In fact, there are 7, including the 2 across the river, right here in the immediate area. And so we believe that this project, if you allow this B3 zoning to go forward, would not be out of place or out of context. It would support the existing outdoor recreational activities in the immediate area and would do so in a way that is not taxing on the land. We would do our part and believe we are well set up to take care of the visibility and the design of this site so that it's consistent with your goals. Importantly, the switch from B1 to B3 would also not negatively impact any R zones or the availability of residential housing. And then lastly, as we've talked about a lot tonight here at the meeting, this would ultimately lead to increased tax revenues for the city, which could be used for things to help fund the projects you need and the infrastructure you need. And that would be both through some of the revenues generated by the RV park, but also by the revitalization and the future of the Tally Ho in itself. And then last but not least, increased job opportunities would be ones that we would look very much forward to having here, stay here in the Townsend area. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have about our intentions, about our team, or anything else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stewart. Let me just speak a minute about the process. And so the way rezoning occurs is that it first goes to the Planning Commission, and then the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners are responsible for doing rezoning. Rezoning can come to the Board of Commissioners without the recommendation from the Planning Commission, but in this case, the Planning Commission did meet and looked at this and made a unanimous recommendation for this to come to the Board of Commissioners. Now, in order for the rezoning to take place, there has to be 2 hearings. And so this would just be the first one, there would still be another one. And in that time frame, there would need to be a public hearing, and we would need to notify that, so we do that through the paper. And we would also post a sign there so that all the neighbors and folks could take a look at that. And so what we've got tonight is a proposal, and I've got one question here, and then I'm going to see if we can get a motion and get it on the floor for some discussion. But just one question, does this, you said that this is only for the 5-acre portion of this parcel, it's not the whole parcel?
Correct, and that would be, if we move forward and close on the property, that would be, that's owned, a new deed created just for that at closing.
Okay, and so that would be reflected at some point in the ordinance?
I can get with Will to see what language we need or fix the map, the parcel that.
Okay.
everything.
And if the sale didn't go through, this wouldn't, the rezoning would not occur? Okay, I'm clear on that. Okay, with that, let me just ask, does it have the support of the property owner?
Yes.
Okay, it does. All right.
Mr. Mayor, before we go forward, I just want, because I did talk to the city attorney about this, but before you go forward with this particular item on the agenda, I will recuse myself and abstain from voting on this, because I feel like I have an indirect but personal conflict of interest, since the proposed property to be rezoned would be for a campground, and my campground is just right across the river. So I will abstain and recuse myself from voting on this particular rezoning on the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Satterfield. That's our process at work. Okay, let me see if I can get a motion and a second so we can get this one up on the floor for some discussion. Can I get a motion to approve ordinance 341-24-1P? I read the title of the ordinance, amending the City of Townsend zoning map to rezone parcel 97071.00 of Blount County, Tennessee, tax map 97 from B1 Tourist Business to B3 Highway Business District. I'll read it. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Townsend, Tennessee, in accordance with Section 13-7-204 of Tennessee Code Annotated, may amend the zoning ordinance and the zoning map of Townsend, Tennessee. Whereas the Townsend Municipal Planning Commission has considered a rezoning request on October 10, 2024, and has forwarded a recommendation to approve the rezoning request to the Townsend Board of Commissioners to amend the zoning map of the City of Townsend, Tennessee accordingly. And now therefore it be ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Townsend, Tennessee as follows. Section 1, the zoning map of the City of Townsend, Tennessee is hereby amended by rezoning parcel 097-071.00 shown on Blount County tax map 97 from B1 Tourist Business District to B3 Highway Business District, and be more clearly defined on the attached map, which is made part of this ordinance. And then section 2, the ordinance shall take effect from after its adoption, the welfare of the municipality requiring it. And I would just indicate my question about the 5 acres, is that would be shown on the map. There's just the 5 acres being rezoned. Okay, that is the ordinance. Do I have a motion to accept this ordinance?
I'll make the motion to accept ordinance number 341-24-1P.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this ordinance?
The one thing that I want to make sure is absolutely clear, this only takes effect when and if they close on the property. And if they do not close on the property, it remains B1. Is that what?
That's my understanding.
Okay, because I don't see that referenced anywhere, so I want to make sure it's clear that that's what it is.
Okay. That's my understanding on how it would work, and it will be clear. I think as we've amended this ordinance, talking about the map and the 5 acres, if the sale does not go through, it will stay B1. Okay, any further discussion?
There was discussions before the planning commission meeting that y'all had talked to all the neighbors. Did you talk to all the neighbors or just a few neighbors? It looks like Sundown Resort. Sundown's not in city limits, but they are neighbors, and they have adjoined it. Or were they made aware of it? Because if this went through Thursday, it's Tuesday, how much time do you need to give them to?
Well, they would have time on the public hearing, 21 days?
21 days.
21 days, so they would be,
And there'd be a sign.
it'd be assigned, so, and it would be in the paper. And I don't know if they have any other way to contact them, but it would be noticed and there would be a public hearing, so they would be able to come and provide any input during the public hearing. Okay, any other questions? Okay, no other questions? Let's see. Okay, let me call the question. All in favor of the ordinance 341-24-1P, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed, okay, the motion passes 3-1. Okay, and we'll have the next reading at our next meeting, we'll get the public hearing notified.
Thank you very much.
Next item is a special event application for Little River Run 5K. This will be held on November the 16th from 11 to 2. The location will be the Abbey. Organizer is Keep Blunt Beautiful Little River Watershed. Let me see what else I can tell you about this, and then I'll see if there's a representative. Let's see, it's a 5K. The event coordinator, Lydia Turnen and Brittany Whipple. Okay. Let's see here. Little River 5K is a fundraiser for Keep Blunt Beautiful Little River Watershed. Our aim with the Little LR 5K is to bring the community together in the beautiful foothills of Smokies while helping support our respective nonprofit organizations. It's a race, it's a walk, and let's see, there's going to be parking in the grassy area behind the chocolate bar. There will be one banner for the 5K sponsors, and it is a vertical retractable banner that is 36 by 85. We've got a certificate of insurance as required. We've got a route map. I'm going to come to Chief Condi here in just a second. Okay, I'm going to have a couple of questions for you. I think that's all that I can say to introduce the event. Usually we'll entertain a motion to get it up on the floor for discussion, and then I'll go right to Chief Condi for his recommendation.
Make a motion to accept the special event application for the Little River Run 5K.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Chief Condi, if you had a chance to take a look at this, this is one I think we've had before.
Correct, yes, it's fine. They're utilizing sidewalks and back streets, and I think it's fine. We've never had an issue with it. It's been fine. No problem for us.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
How do you plan to mark your route? We've had some issues using spray paint on our roadways, and it has caused some concerns with our residents here. So how do you all plan to mark your route?
Yeah, that's been brought to our attention. So of course, we have course directors on course. We still want something on the road. We wanted to propose the idea of spray paint chalk, so it would wash off just with the next rain rather than spray paint, which stays all year.
If the spray paint chalk does not come off, are you all willing to come in and cover that up?
We would, yes. We would probably test it before we put it all over the roads to make sure that it does. But if it really was a problem, yes, we would.
If it's a problem, I guess truly use just regular chalk rather than spray paint.
Okay.
Chalk.
Okay, other questions from commissioners?
Now that's my pet peeve, is marking the roads.
Well,
I'm glad you brought it up.
Okay, I would be remiss if I didn't give you some feedback from one of our residents. We had a resident come at a previous meeting and explain to us that there are no less than 66 LR5K spray paint markings still on our streets and on our sidewalks from previous years. Now, the ordinance wasn't in effect then, but we've still got that on our streets and our sidewalks.
It's on, yeah.
Okay, I mean, we want to address that.
Okay?
Would that be something that we should partner with you on, or should we take care of that ourselves? And is there a best way and time to do that, in your opinion?
Well, I think we appreciate that. That's really nice because it is before the ordinance came into effect, and we appreciate the sidewalk shop. I think we'd be willing to work with you to see if we could address those markings that happened from years gone by. It's not a good look for your race because, you know, when residents come around, they see that. It's clear which 5K it is. So we'd be happy to partner with you on remedying those previous marks. And if y'all use the chalk spray paint, that would be good in my mind. So
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to get it taken care of. If it, if it was brought to our attention earlier, we would have wanted it then too. It's just something that wasn't brought to our attention, so we just didn't know that it was as much of an issue as it was. So definitely get it taken care of.
Commissioners, any other questions?
I like the idea of our overstaffed maintenance department working with them to slowly eradicate the past. I don't think these guys should be this.
Well, I think going forward, we're going to try to, discourage. I think it actually is not allowed in our current ordinance to be painting the sidewalks and the streets and things like that. If it's removable, I guess that's one thing, but some of the race sponsors that have come in have indicated that they would put people or cones or things that they can take up. I think we're going to try to do that to beautify the city going forward. But if there's an opportunity and y'all are willing to address the previous ones, that sure is a lot of goodwill in my mind.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah. And utilizing more cones and stuff.
Okay. All right, commissioners? All right, very good. Okay, commissioners, we've got a motion on the floor. I'll call the question. All in favor of Little River Run 5K on November the 16th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the application is approved.
Sorry, one more thing. We had mentioned to us that we could ask about the special event application being waived as we are nonprofits. I don't know if that was correct information or not.
Yes, it is possible to request it be waived. Usually we do it before that.
Okay.
But we can amend the motion, I suppose, and see if we can waive the $100 fee if you would like to do that. Okay, can I have a motion to amend the previous motion, or maybe it's just another motion to waive the fee for the Little River Run 5K?
I make a motion to waive the fee for the Little River 5K.
Have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of waiving the fee for the Little River Run 5K, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If you want the next.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Not that one, your next one.
Oh, it's on the next one?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Okay, let's move to the next special event application. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this next special event application is for the Christmas at the Museum. It will be held at the Little River Railroad and Lumber Company Museum. Event coordinator is Neil Stone. It will be held on December the 14th from 12 to 8 p.m. Celebration of Christmas in Townsend with railroad theme, railroad merchandise and vendors. And there will be there'll be beverages and other goods, handmade crafts. And let's see, anticipated attendance 200. Okay, that's all I have on this one. Is someone here from the Railroad Museum? Like to?
Miss Sandy, Miss Dana?
We got the whole contingent here. Anything you'd like to say on behalf of this one?
history tells us that Colonel Townsend's wife, Margaret, brought the first Christmas tree to Townsend. So the people were, they were taken aback by it and wasn't sure about it. Then she took the train to Pennsylvania and come back and put presents under the tree for everybody. So it was a big community event. So that's our goal, to honor her memory and celebrate Christmas with the community each year. So
Now, is this your second or third year doing this?
this is our fourth.
The fourth.
Thank you, Ms. Tamalone. Okay, may I have a motion on this one, Little River Railroad Lumber Company Museum, Christmas at the Museum?
I make a motion to accept the special event application for Christmas at the museum.
I have a second.
And we had a speed request waiver on that also.
Yes.
And this one here has a request for a fee waiver.
Approve, yes.
Okay,
Make a motion to accept the fee waiver also.
okay. Is that amenable to the second? Okay. Chief Conde?
No, that's fine. Sounds fun.
Okay. All in favor of Christmas at the museum, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, none opposed. The event application is approved. Is there any unfinished business? Yeah. Seeing any, we'll go next to our second opportunity, public input, not on the agenda. Mr. Aker.
Well, I know it's late, so I'll be really brief as best as Mike Aker can. I would like to make a recommendation to you all to look at your zoning and make it be like the rest of the world's zoning, so that when a piece of property is zoned commercial, currently it prohibits a residential use. Whereas in other parts of the world, when it's zoned commercial, you can still do everything that you could do in the lower zones. It's progressive. It doesn't be mutually exclusive the way Townsend's is. It has painted me into a corner where I literally have to build a business in order to do anything on my property when I would like to have a residence there. And it's messed up, because in other parts of the world, if it was zoned commercial the way it is, I could still build a house there. And it's wrong. And you all could fix that very easily by making it progressive instead of mutually exclusive. The way it is right now, if it doesn't say it to the letter, you won't allow it to happen. And you could simply say everything that was in the zone prior to this is permitted in this zone, plus these things, instead of being mutually exclusive. And that would benefit pretty much everybody in Townsend, probably. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I do note that it is possible to request rezoning.
Yes, it would be.
Okay, any other public input? Okay, other business, commissioners? Have anything? This out? I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.